Hello everyone, welcome back to AJZ Studios. And I just thought I'd make a video recapping Night of Champions that took place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia today. And yeah, overall I really enjoyed the show. Um, no match in particular felt off or just not enjoyable. Right, we kicked things off with Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton in the King of the Ring final. And it went as expected. Cody Rhodes winning the match and securing a title match at SummerSlam, most likely against John Cena in a one-on-one rematch from WrestleMania 41 earlier this year. And I feel like that could be the case. We may potentially see a multi-man match at SummerSlam, just given the results of what had happened tonight later on in the WWE Championship match. Um, I would personally love to see a triple threat with Cena, Punk, and Rhodes. And even better, some suggestions I've been seeing online of maybe having some follow up with Randy Orton after the loss tonight and making it a fatal four way. I think that's a great way to just have a big SummerSlam main event, having some major players involved in a big title match without repeating the WrestleMania main event. And like I haven't really spoken to you guys much since prior to WrestleMania. I'm looking forward to making a video just highlighting my trip to Vegas and my overall thoughts on the show. I will say this just as a quick thing. WrestleMania 41, definitely one of the weaker manias I'd attended. But I will say the closing match tonight one made it worth it without a doubt. Punk Rollins Reigns was excellent, everything about it. Um, and also the opening match tonight too with Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Io Sky. Those two matches alone felt like all-time WrestleMania matches and definitely warranted me wanting to be there. A lot of the remaining portions of the shows in both nights were some were good, some weren't too good, some just didn't feel WrestleMania worthy. And a big thing was the night two main event being as weak as it was with Cena and Rhodes and having that Travis Scott involvement, not having The Rock present at all, and seemingly sabotaging the main event in injecting himself into this story, being a part of the Cena heel turn, and then just not even bothering to show up. Just kind of ruined things, I really feel. And there a lot of blame goes to Dwayne Johnson for this, not to Cena, not to Rhodes. Travis Scott's there because, WWE wants him there. They want him to, bring other eyes to WrestleMania, and I'm sure he did that. So yeah, I would say maybe hold off on a Cena Rhodes one-on-one rematch. I think Cena will probably retain at SummerSlam if it is a multi-man match, and I would expect him to lose to Rhodes most likely at Survivor Series in San Diego. I would personally love to see that, even though it would be a repeat of a match I've seen. I'm planning on going to Survivor Series. It's not too far away from LA. And yeah, I wouldn't mind if Cena's title run did extend further past SummerSlam, just because, right, the title win itself was kind of tainted just due to the circumstances. And the match with Orton following that was solid. I thought the stuff with R-Truth and just having R-Truth kind of pivot to a serious character finally after years, I think is doing a lot for him, and we'll see how that run goes. Just kind of wrapping up his long-term stint with WWE on pretty much his own terms, giving him a run different than what he's been doing for the last decade or so. Um, and yeah, I thought I'll speak on Cena and Punk in just a moment, but yeah, just going off the rest of the Night of Champions card, Rhea Ripley defeating Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight. Thought it was great. Thought both women did a great job in that match. I was kind of expecting Raquel to get the win just to have her have something big going on, with Liv Morgan being out for a while. Don't know if this will extend past this, but Rhea getting a win. Don't know if she'll be back in the title picture anytime soon, but we'll have to see with that. Sami Zayn defeating Karrion Kross, and that match was pretty good. I'm glad to see they finally are utilizing Karrion Kross. It's kind of crazy to me how much the fans all around the world have been clamoring for Kross to just have more TV time, have more storylines outside of just like what he's kind of been doing, just kind of being a character, getting in people's heads, not really getting PLE exposure or much else really, and just even weekly TV. So I hope this leads to more for Karrion Kross. He does deserve the opportunity. Him and Scarlett both, so that's exciting to see. Sami Zayn for sure had to get the win. Anytime he comes to Saudi Arabia, it's a big moment. You know, the crowd loves him, and like I feel like this just re-emphasizes even more so that Sami should win the Royal Rumble when they go to Riyadh next January. I feel like with all of this, just a big, over-encompassing storyline with Sami seeking his first world title in the WWE. I feel like that needs to be paid off, and what better time to pay it off than next year when you have the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. He can get that big win, huge crowd reaction, people in Saudi, people outside of Saudi. You can't dislike Sami Zayn. His work ethic, his character work, especially over the last few years, he's one of the best in the world right now, and definitely would love to see him win a world title at WrestleMania next year in Vegas. Speaking of which, so Las Vegas will be hosting WrestleMania 2 years in a row now. I hadn't made a video regarding that. I was at Money in the Bank, and when the announcement was made, thankfully I made my hotel accommodations like a few weeks prior, and was able to secure Mandalay Bay for a really good price. So got the hotel secured. Obviously WrestleMania tickets are going to be an arm and a leg. You can't really avoid that, but I'm excited for WrestleMania to be back in Vegas. I think it was a great host this year for 41. Was hoping New Orleans would end up getting it for next year, just because I love going to different locations, especially when it comes to WrestleMania. It's nice to combine, going to a specific WrestleMania along with seeing a new place, and Vegas being somewhere I've gone so often. It's kind of bittersweet in a way. I enjoyed every aspect of WrestleMania weekend this year, and now that they're coming back next year, certain things that I may have missed out on, I can go ahead and kind of have another chance at doing those things. So that is exciting for sure. But yeah, just a side note, I'll definitely go into more discussion about this year's WrestleMania, next year's WrestleMania, and some follow-up videos. So yeah, I definitely think Sami getting the win here was needed. Hoping Karrion Kross gets more TV time following this. And yeah, just hoping the long-term plan is Sami winning the Rumble, Sami going after the World Heavyweight Championship specifically, maybe with Rollins holding it, or maybe even Braun Breaker holding it at that point. Hard to say what they'll do. So yeah, you have Solo Sikoa defeating Jacob Fatu. We have Hikuleo making his presence known in WWE, which was kind of rumored over the last few days. So good to see. Jacob Fatu has been on a roll. I thought his match with LA Knight at WrestleMania was one of the key highlights of night one. And yeah, didn't have a very long run, I would say, just a few months, right? But Solo finally winning his first singles title in WWE is definitely something that's a long time coming. And yeah, I'm sure Jacob's gonna eventually, get the title back or get his revenge on the new bloodline. And just right, Jacob Fatu is on a good trajectory to be a main event player. He's great in everything he's been doing since arriving about a year ago is when he pretty much arrived. And yeah, everything's been smooth sailing. He's been killing it. So yeah, looking forward to more to come from him. We have Jade Cargill defeating Asuka to become the Queen of the Ring. And yeah, I mean, I could have seen this match going either way, to be honest, because if Asuka wins, right, she would be getting a match with Io Sky. I feel like that's something that will eventually happen, and it could still happen at SummerSlam. I feel like there's no reason why they can't just put Asuka in that position anyway, just have a separate route than the Queen of the Ring tournament to get there. With Jade, her and Tiffany, that should be a good match. I'm expecting Tiffany to go into SummerSlam as champion, and more than likely we'll see Naomi cash in on Jade, either after winning the title or maybe mid-match, similar to how Rollins had done back at WrestleMania 31. But yeah, I can clearly see what they're going for right now, and it's going to be an extension of the Naomi Jade feud with the world title, most likely, with WWE Women's title. So yeah, I don't know what to expect, but it is kind of exciting to see, the Money in the Bank have some good involvement this year with both Seth and Naomi. Just like, we didn't have a same night cash in or same week cash in. We had both members holding the briefcase, and hopefully at least one of them holding it past SummerSlam. maybe a cash-in happening at SummerSlam, maybe two cash-ins at SummerSlam, we have no idea, but definitely excited to see Jade potentially win her first world title, and to see Naomi just continue her great work that she's been doing throughout the year. And then, yeah, we get to the main event. John Cena versus CM Punk, what would be billed as their final match ever. We don't know if that's for sure the case. But yeah, no, just everything about this was awesome. The Saudi crowd killed it. Like, they were doing excellent. Just, during the ring announcements, the hype up at the very start of the match as they're locking up, you kind of had like the flashlights on their phones. Like, the atmosphere felt crazy. It felt like a European atmosphere, like something close to like what we saw in France for Backlash last year. And yeah, overall really enjoyed the match. I thought it was great for the early to middle portion of the match, and then you had the later on involvement of Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and then Penta and Sami Zayn evening the odds there. You had a moment of Cena, like debating on whether he wants to use the title. You've been kind of having these moments as of late with Cena where he's kind of questioning his morality. Does he want to use the title? Does he want to use a foreign object to win the match? And he ends up going against it, but kind of recycles back to it, or just has a shady way of winning his title matches. So obviously, like, planting the seeds for his eventual face turn, which we don't really know how that will happen. Will he still be champion when that face turn happens? Is it going to be in the final match, the final month of his farewell tour? Hard to tell. But overall, with the little tropes that we have been getting with the Cena run, with like the heelish tactics, the low blows, all that, I thought this match was excellent. Punk and Cena like delivered once more. 12 years since their last one-on-one match. I loved what they had going on at the Elimination Chamber, just them being the final two, and that chamber match in general I was a big fan of. So just having an extension of that tonight. Sucks that it wasn't in the States. I would have loved to have traveled to see this in person, but at the same time, you have people in Saudi Arabia that have never seen CM Punk wrestle before, and may have not seen Cena wrestle before, and this is their last opportunity to see John Cena wrestle. So it's cool that was able to be done for them. So much talk about like Saudi as the government politically, like, and what people have against them, and I can understand those things. People calling CM Punk a hypocrite for doing this match in Saudi Arabia. At the end of the day, like he has certain morality feelings towards the government and whatnot. Sami Zayn had those feelings too for the longest time. Punk made some comments towards the Miz back in the day, just very bitter, hateful comments about Miz and taking money from Saudi Arabia, and he backtracked on that, apologized to Miz, to the people of Saudi Arabia for those comments, to just not seem like he was a hateful person towards them or had anything against them, which, like I said, like I don't think Punk has hate for the fans that are coming to see him in Saudi. So it's nice that he can swallow his pride, just go and do this match for the people that want to see it. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of money is involved too. That may be a driving factor, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to judge Punk over making this decision. It's at the end of the day, we're watching these shows, despite what location it's in, and there's good-hearted people in Saudi Arabia too that just got to experience something that I get to experience all the time. So if like you kind of just have to understand that everything's not black and white in the world. So yeah, no, like, think about all the things that Punk has gone back on in just the last several years alone, coming back to wrestling, coming back to WWE, everything. Like, I don't care. I genuinely don't care. I'm living my life. I'm enjoying, these last few years as a wrestling fan have been such a joy. 2025 has been kind of rocky, not as good as 2024 or 2023. I think a lot of the fans are seeing that, especially with all the nonsense TKO is pulling. But yeah, I'm still enjoying this year as a wrestling fan. I've gotten to see some cool shows live, whether they were like, great shows or not. Like, I had a good time at every show I went to. And yeah, just watching this from home was awesome too. So yeah, Cena ends up defeating Punk due to involvement, like I mentioned earlier, from Rollins, and Rollins hitting Punk with the briefcase, hitting a stomp, Cena throwing Rollins out of the ring and getting the pin on Punk to retain. So pretty big moment there. Like I said, with everything kind of going on, I wouldn't be surprised if Punk earns his way to a title match at SummerSlam, being added to a match with Cena and Cody, and then maybe having Orton involved in some way. No real idea on how they'll go about doing that, just because he did lose. Well, I guess he did hit like an exposed turnbuckle before getting hit by the crossroads by Cody tonight. I guess that's some reason to maybe have Orton claim that, you know, he deserves another shot at getting the SummerSlam title opportunity, even though he was technically the one that exposed the turnbuckle. Like that, it just the fact that that was the finish to the match makes me feel like there's going to be some involvement from Randy Orton, and then also with the main event result that there will be some involvement from CM Punk. And yeah, you know, I think that should be, if they're trying to get people at MetLife for SummerSlam, doing some big scale matches like that Fatal 4-Way, not just a repeat of the WrestleMania main event with Cody and Cena, and also maybe doing Rollins versus Reigns one-on-one. Those are some big money matches they can do to really get people to travel over for SummerSlam. I personally won't be going to SummerSlam, but I'm sure, you know, a lot of people on the East Coast have been waiting for a show, their big stadium show. It's been a while. Obviously WrestleMania 40 last year, but it really feels like the West Coast has been getting a lot of shows lately, which I'm thankful for. The fact that we're getting WrestleMania also 2 years in a row is insane. But yeah, I overall enjoyed the show tonight. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching. I know it's been like the first time in a while that I've made a video just talking to you. A lot of my posts lately have been just WrestleMania videos, Money in the Bank videos. And yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing more content, especially when it comes to discussing WrestleMania from a few months ago and just how that overall trip went. Some pointers for WrestleMania next year, even now that I have the experience of a modern WrestleMania in Las Vegas and how that went about. Definitely have some things to share with you guys. If you're planning on going to WrestleMania 42 next year, if you were at 41 and you want to do it again, or if you kind of were intrigued by what WrestleMania week looked like in Vegas for WrestleMania 41 and want to pull the trigger on 42, definitely look out for more content just on me helping you guys out with navigating that and planning your trip to get there in a cost-efficient manner, enjoy what you want, and just have a great overall WrestleMania week. So yeah, guys, thank you again for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.